Today, August 21st, would have been Hayden Panettiere's 37th birthday. Instead, fans are remembering the actress just 5 days after her sudden death at the age of 36. Panettiere was born on August 21st, 1989, in Palisades, New York, and spent virtually her entire life in front of cameras. But what makes today especially heartbreaking is that her birthday was reportedly supposed to be about something much more personal than Hollywood. Hayden had plans to spend her birthday week with her 11-year-old daughter, Kaya, in Germany, and people close to her said she was genuinely excited about seeing her daughter. And before we continue, if you followed Hayden's career, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, because here we look beyond the headlines to understand the stories and legacies behind the people we watched on screen. Hayden's death was announced after she was found unresponsive at a residence in Greenville, South Carolina, on August 16th. First responders found her in cardiac arrest and attempted advanced resuscitation, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. An autopsy reportedly found no trauma contributing to her death, and authorities have said there was no apparent foul play. Importantly, though, her official cause and manner of death have not been finalized. That distinction matters. There have been reports and emergency dispatch references suggesting a possible overdose, but that has not been officially established as the cause of death. Toxicology and additional studies are still part of the investigation. So while speculation is spreading online, the responsible thing is to separate what authorities have confirmed from what remains unknown. And in my opinion, that is especially important when talking about someone whose life was already heavily scrutinized. Hayden became famous remarkably young. She appeared professionally as a child before becoming a household name as Claire Bennet on Heroes. Claire was a seemingly ordinary cheerleader who could regenerate from injuries, and Panettiere turned that character into one of the most recognizable faces of the series. Then came Nashville, where she played Juliette Barnes, a talented but troubled country singer. The role earned Panettiere 2 Golden Globe nominations and demonstrated that she was capable of much more than the teenage roles that initially made her famous. She also appeared in films including Remember the Titans and the Scream franchise, giving her a career that stretched across television, film, animation, and video games. But perhaps the most revealing chapter of Hayden's life was not one of her fictional characters. It was her own story. Her memoir, This Is Me, A Reckoning, was released only months before her death. In it, Panettiere openly discussed childhood fame, addiction, postpartum depression, trauma, motherhood, and abusive relationships. The book gave fans a much more complicated picture of the woman behind the celebrity image. And there is something deeply uncomfortable about revisiting those words now. Hayden had spent years trying to explain herself to the public. She wasn't simply a former child star who experienced fame and success. She was someone who publicly acknowledged that fame came with enormous personal costs. Her relationship with daughter Kaya was one of the most emotional parts of that story. Hayden and Vladimir Klitschko welcomed Kaya in 2014. In 2018, Panettiere relinquished custody while dealing with serious personal struggles. That decision was painful, but people close to her have said she believed it was ultimately about giving Kaya stability while she worked on herself. That makes the reports about her planned birthday visit particularly heartbreaking. She wasn't reportedly planning some huge Hollywood event. She was looking forward to seeing her daughter, and that, to me, is one of the most human details in this entire story. It reminds us that behind the actress, the headlines and the controversies, was a mother who still wanted time with her child. Her family has also remembered her not simply for her struggles, but for her personality and the joy she brought to people around her. Her father, Skip Panettiere, described Hayden as an incredible light and a force of nature who brought love and joy to those who knew her and to millions who watched her. That description feels important because celebrity deaths can sometimes become dominated by the circumstances surrounding them. But Hayden's legacy should be bigger than the unanswered questions surrounding her final hours. She was Claire Bennet. She was Juliette Barnes. She was Kirby Reed in Scream. She was a young performer audiences watched grow up. And, most importantly, she was a real person who spent years trying to survive some very difficult chapters of her life. Her former fiancé and Kaya's father, Vladimir Klitschko, has also paid tribute to her, emphasizing her talent and the importance of preserving her memory for their daughter. Today, fans are revisiting her performances, sharing memories and returning to This Is Me, a reckoning. In a strange way, her memoir now carries even more weight because it was one of Hayden's final opportunities to tell her own story in her own words. And that's why I think today should not simply be remembered as the birthday Hayden never reached. It should be remembered as a celebration of the 36 years she did have. 36 years of acting, singing, performing, motherhood, struggle, recovery, mistakes, resilience, and moments that meant something to millions of people. The investigation into her death should continue, and people deserve accurate answers. But until officials establish the final cause of death, we should resist turning rumors into facts. Hayden Panettiere's story was already complicated enough. She deserved the chance to tell it herself. And perhaps the best way fans can honor her on what would have been her 37th birthday is not by focusing only on how she died, but by remembering who she was. A child star who became a leading actress, a performer who made Claire Bennet and Juliette Barnes unforgettable, a woman who openly confronted some of the darkest parts of her life, and a mother who was reportedly looking forward to spending her birthday with her daughter. Happy would-be 37th birthday, Hayden. Your story was far more complicated than headlines, and your legacy is far bigger than the tragedy of your final days. Rest in peace.